Absolutely ridiculous. Glenn Maxwell, that is illegal. The game just keeps giving. This World Cup just keeps giving. And boy, what an innings. I think this is the best innings I've ever seen in a game of cricket. T10, T20, 50 over test match. It's ridiculous. I can't even honestly finish the sentence. Boys, your first thoughts. Anirudh, I'll start with you, man.
I was saying this is the best knock I've ever seen in ODI cricket. I don't think anything else is in the same league. I mean, I've seen many knocks, but I don't think I've seen a knock like this. Considering the situation, 90 for 7 for chasing a semi-final spot against a spin-heavy attack, which has some of the best spinners in the world, and he scores 50 of the at least 50, 60 runs with no legs. I mean, like, I don't know, man. I'm lost for words. It's like it defies everything. Like, it defies everything. I mean, I'm in shock actually. I don't know if it has sunk in yet what Maxwell has just done. Is I don't think he knows what he's just done. It's like I don't think it can ever be eclipsed. A knock like this.
Nikhil, what do you have to say, man? This is just unreal. I still can't believe it. I think it's like a PlayStation 5 game in real life. And
You're
Nikhil's
on
on
mute.
mute. Oh, Nikhil's audio is a little bit distorted, which is an absolute rarity, but it's probably like a Maxwell knock. Let us just figure Nikhil's audio out in a bit, but keep your comments coming through. Lots of people, of course, will want to watch that innings over and over and over again. I mean, we'll put out all the funky things we can show you from cricket.com's perspective in terms of the beehive, the pitch map, the wagon wheel. That'll be something to see. But I mean, just talk to me about the stats, man. Just for starters, let's get that out of the way, Anirudh. I mean, I know it's the best 8 wicket partnership and all of that, but individual Maxwell stats, what have you read so far?
Look, I know it's the highest ever score for an Australian. He becomes the first ever Australian double centurion, which I think is fitting because he has been one of Australia's greatest ever white ball cricketers, and this is a knock his legacy deserves. To be honest, this is a knock his legacy deserves for what he's done. He needed legacy defining knock like this, and he has it. The highest ever second innings total in second innings. Look, I can't even put words together now. The highest ever score while chasing in a World Cup, and this is also the highest ever score while chasing, the first double century while chasing. Uh, I don't know what else I have missed out, but
And it's probably the best double century ever in any sort of cricket, like I said. So let's, of course, get to Nikhil and see if his audio is better. Nikhil, I mean, talk to me, man. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, maybe that mute is how Afghanistan bowled today, in terms of absolutely horrendous. Again, not to forget, Azmatullah Omar actually bowled very well to get them into a position of being 91 for 7. But whether they took it for granted, because the Shahidi catch, the Mujib catch, I don't think Mujib will be able to sleep today. And again, it's not the first time. And see, catches drop can happen. But to see a catch drop like that, and then to see the guy, he was in 33 of 39. And then he's single handedly gone on to score 190 of the 200 run stand that they had. It is absolutely crazy. It is stuff of legends. And again, only and only respect for Glenn to be able to find that will, because he was clearly not able to move, cramping up. Uh, on one leg, at times you did not even feel there was power in his legs, and to be able to find that, and it's not that he just hit one area.
Yeah.
He hit over mid wicket. He went over square leg. He went reverse over third man as well. So it's not that he didn't try other stuff. I don't think we just have enough words to just summarize how unreal it is, because I'm still in shock that how can a side be as dumb as Afghanistan were in terms of their bowling plans. I just don't think they understood what was getting done at the other end, because Maxwell played his part. But what did they bowl to Pat Cummins? I did not see one single chance created versus Pat Cummins. I just think they just kept feeling, one shot will come, one shot will come. It never came. He didn't have to hit a single shot. So again, end to end with 200, I don't think this can ever be topped. it will take something absolutely out of the world to really top this effort from Glenn.
Yeah, because he defied honestly everything, physics at times, health at times. I mean, I know he had a lot of lady luck, and I'm not just talking about the drop catches because, of course, even that particular DRS call, he was walking away before he knew it was just going above. And small little fine margins. I think he played a reverse lap off Omar Zai, which was, I mean, on first instance, you were like, oh my God, he's knocked his off stump over. But then it was for everything went Maxi's way, but then he deserved it for him to kind of have pickle juice and then pop, I don't know, incredible amount of pills as well at that point in time. And it's Mumbai, guys. We know as Indians as well how hot it can get. Imagine with that gear over there. I don't care how much, in terms of you've played cricket in your life, you will have to feel for Maxwell. And the way he did it was absolutely breathtaking. Keep your comments coming through and like this particular video for Glenn Maxwell, because bring out the Glenn Fittich, bring out the Glenn Morans, bring out, of course, uh, Glenn anything, but Glenn Maxwell is absolutely defined it. Let's, of course, pander to some questions in just a bit, but I want to ask you guys what the hell was the turning point, and we'll start there. I don't know. Again, it seems like a redundant place to start, but that 91 for 7, what could they have done better? Nikhil, you just touched upon it over there. Do you think they even missed a trick once they knew Maxwell was pretty much limbless? And he could have probably, I mean, I think someone said it in commentary as well, like just make him kind of go wide outside off stump instead of bowling it into his arc.
I don't think they were thinking at all. I just they were bullying to hope more than bullying to get him out. And when you do that, it is not going to work out. See, eventually, even that the glove that he got of Omarzai came very late. Before that, he hardly gave you any chance after he was dropped. So I think for me, the turning point was the terrible and horrendous drop from Mujibur Rahman. And again, I hate to say it at times, but you really cannot drop those catches. And it's not the first time that he's dropped one at that place itself. So it is one thing creating chances, and one thing not taking the simplest of ones that are offered to you. And if you don't take it, it is sometimes you need things like this to just make you be a bit more aware that you have to just be on your toes. And again, the way they bowled to Pat Cummins, they didn't care. It almost as if like, let's bowl wherever we want to, and Shahidi as well, hardly inspiring. This is the worst day to bring out your textbook captaincy. He kept bowling Noor from the one end, and did not want to move. No field placements getting changed. Absolutely zero pressure on Pat Cummins and Glenn Maxwell to try anything else. And it is just terrible. And again, it's not that they had a 50 run stand, 100 run stand. That happens. People play well. You've given them from 91 for 7, and he gave you 3 chances. You did not even take one, and on top of that, you were never even in the end. Naveen is bowling on his pads. He can't move, dude, and you're bowling here only. What else? If you ask Maxwell, where do you want the ball? Please bowl here. If you ask Maxwell, where do you want? Please bowl full so that I can hit straight, and that's where they bowl. It is just, I think it's a night to just forget that they played this game. I think that the only way they can deal about this, forget that you played this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's a day to forget for Afghanistan. I mean, that's what the beauty of sport is, right? And the times you feel like you're probably going to get the best ever win in your entire history, and then it just gets taken away in a manner that unprecedented, I would say, to a certain degree. And by the way, this is also Australia's first ever double century, so they've got that monkey off the back. The other two World Cup double centurions, of course, Guptill, and not to forget Christopher Henry Gale, and now Glenn Maxwell. So there's something with your name having a G play in it. If you know, you know. I just want to ask you, Anirudh, right now. I mean, is this a boost for Australia or what? Because if they can come out from that, then they know essentially they're in for business.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think the kind of plot armor Maxwell had today. I think he just felt that I can do anything today and get away with it. It was not just the drop catches, by the way. It was the DRS and also the hat trick ball he faced. He could easily have been bowled. He got the faintest of nicks that helped him not get clean bowled. And as you can see, the wagon wheel, it's like it's the wagon wheel of an entire team's innings, and one man has done it, and he's done half this stuff with one leg. Forget one leg, he's done half this stuff with no legs. He's just like, there were a couple of deliveries where he just like stood like as if his feet were like, stuck, and then he just used his bat like some kind of a weapon, and then he was just smashing it. It was just absolutely ridiculous to see. I mean, I'm just speechless. I have no idea how he managed to do what he has just done. It is just, I mean, I agree that Afghanistan probably lost the plot. I agree that Afghanistan probably did not bowl well at all. But still, this is probably down to 90% down to Maxwell, and 10% down to Afghanistan after the drop catches, because some of the stuff he did is just, that is not human at all. It is not human at all.
It's honestly ridiculous, guys. I feel like we've just seen something and we've been blessed to see it. Imagine the people at the Wankhede. I mean, they would just hold this innings.
Ramesh.
Like, yeah, imagine that. So many
Maybe that
seniors
will
for the press
finally stop
box.
him. He'll finally stop talking about Maxwell and his unreliability. Maybe who knows?
Yeah, exactly. Lots of people in the comments, which was good to see. Missing Akshay here saying noodle hacks with Vasant. He was on live blog, so if you like that written content, 100% go and give him a hello. 2 non-functioning legs, 1 versus 11 non-functioning brains, going on to say Pranav
Forget
Anand.
11. It is not just 11. You had people in the coaching department. What were they doing? How did nobody come down to tell them that bowl wide? See, it's not a venue. Okay, I get it. It's a shorter ground. You fear कि भाई short ball में मारेगा, but he's tired.
Yeah.
I mean, where else would you use all of that?
And then also the fact that generally I feel like Afghanistan, and Ricky Ponting mentioned this, guys, that Shahidi has been probably the best captains to use his spinners till up to this point, and then it just goes out of the window, right? I
I
mean,
I don't agree with that assessment as well, because
okay,
he's been very, very stubborn, Shahidi. So it may have looked at times very great because things work out for you, but it's like these days this should really, now again, I don't want to be harsh, but these are haunting memories.
yeah,
To lose a game like that, 91 for 7, you're looking at Australia, Afghanistan beating Australia. Uh, I'm thinking about the things I may banter with Anirudh, and then you can understand what the players may be feeling. So I understand that, okay, for some period of time you are lost into the thought, but that's where you need the seniors to step up. Now, if this was a young captain, I still understand, him losing the plot a bit, that, okay, you are caught up in the emotion. But this is not a young captain. You are one of the seniors. So him, even Nabi came on to bowl so late. You really cannot be so stubborn and just hope that things will happen in your way, right?
yeah, it makes you think about that a little bit more, especially with the fact that both these teams have a game each left. We'll talk about that in just a bit. And we'll, of course, not even spoken about Afghanistan's centurion of the day, Ibrahim Zadran. We'll, of course, talk about that because it's honestly Mad Max who's stolen the highlights, stolen the headlines, stolen absolutely everything. And we'll just reflect on the points table and what's done to Australia because they do get the Q next to their name. And as you can see over there, they are firmly in third. At one point in time, you were thinking it'll take an absolute denting that net run rate off theirs, but it's actually vice versa for Afghanistan, and they remain on 8 points with 1 game to go. So, look, I mean, that's a fantastic result if you're a Kiwi or if you're a Paki, but Australia definitely having something to say. I just want to get back to that particular graphic again that we haven't depicted. It's Afghanistan spaces to Australia, then what is the theme that you observe here? Could they have done anything better, the Pacers in particular?
So I assume this includes also the balls that were, wicket taking balls. I think this also includes the power play, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
So I mean, so it is hard to read too much into this particular graph because it includes, see, the length they bowled in the first 10 overs might have been good, but bowling the same lengths in the 30, 40, 50th over might not be the right way to go about things. But I agree with Nikhil that it was just like they were just going through the motions, and they ran out of ideas, especially when Maxwell lost both his legs. I also felt that they could have, for example, had long on very wide, because that Maxwell can only hit that half helicopter, half swipe kind of a shot, which will go like this. It won't go straight if you bowl, especially slanting down the leg side. There was a ball which just, I think, fell to the right side of Naveen at long on. Maybe if he was stationed a bit wide, he could have caught it. And yeah, but look, I felt personally, after looking at the first 10 overs itself, I felt that Afghanistan were one pacer short.
Hmm.
Four spinners on this track was not the right way to go about it. They had clearly misread the wicket, especially after what the ball did in the first 10 overs. It definitely cried for one more pacer, which they did not have. It also did not help that someone like a Mujib had a very, very bad day, and Nabi was not even in the game. So, but yes, the point Nikhil made about how Cummins had to do nothing, right? That was the staggering part, because see, look at the way how Rashid bowled to Stoinis, and look at the way how Rashid bowled to Cummins, and even Stark for that matter. Even Stark, did not face too much trouble. He uh, before getting out, the way he bowled to Stoinis, he was questioning him in right, left, and center. Cummins barely had two balls bowled at his stumps in from all the bowlers. There were a couple of balls that beat his outside edge, and the biggest threat he had was probably him trying to cut Noor Ahmed, and he was not putting bat to ball, and that was the farthest Cummins got to getting out. Otherwise, Cummins had probably a control percentage of over 90 in the last 50 or 60 balls he faced. So
Yeah, and what he
But just to
ended up
Anirudh,
getting 12 or
no,
68, right?
just to Anirudh, even if they had two more extra bases, Shahid wouldn't have bowled them.
fair enough, huh?
Because sometimes you were just scratching your head with what Shahidi was doing out there as a captain. And obviously, I mean, if Australia can go from here to beating Bangladesh, that'll bode them well. I mean, lots of people are saying these kind of things in the comments. People are just overreacting. This innings might have papered over the cracks in the middle order. I mean, Australia are surely looking good right now. They killed 6 wins on the trot, and that's like taking the momentum into the knockout stages.
Yeah, but then it still doesn't cover up the point that we discussed, that they still need more people to score. It's again been the same guy, and again, this is, you have to be very honest and be acceptable of the accepting the fact that this is a one-off. I mean, this
Yeah.
is, you have to be respectful into to Maxwell, that yes, but he can't do it all the time, right? He'll not be able to do it ahead. Sometimes he'll just play teams that have more options up their sleeve and just have a brain as well. So it will not always happen, and it was the dismissals up top that should bother Australia a lot more, in terms of how Head got out, how Warner got out, the Manas run out. I don't know. It can happen. It's bat up in the air. He still got there even though he was hesitant. So I think that is something that should bother them. Even Stoinis dismissal versus spin. It's not the first time that we've seen Stoinis got out like that. That missing a sweep, getting out LBW. So it has, and I'll agree with Sanjay that it has paper over the cracks. But you have to take into consideration that it will give them momentum, but there are still areas that teams will feel we can target them with. So it is one thing getting confidence, but it can't just make people bat better. So, and at least the people who are out of form.
Yeah, just to add to the point, I mean, definitely it is a knock that has papered over cracks for sure. But I think what will make Australia believe going forward is that if we can chase down 295 despite being 90 for 7, it's not going to happen. It's not going to be the case probably in the knockouts that their entire top order will fail again. At least one will click. I mean, that's just the law of averages. It's very unlikely now that you'll see again Warner, Head, Marsh, Smith, everyone failing, Marnus, all these
But
guys
they,
failing.
but they're gonna make changes, I'm guessing. So when Smith comes back, who goes out and what's with Inglis right now as well?
I just feel they'll make one change. If Smith is 100% fit, Marnus drops out and Smith comes in. I don't think they're gonna change Inglis and Carey back again. I think they will stick with English for the rest of the tournament. But but yes, I think, like Nikhil pointed out, it's not about. Of course, they will know that this is not a perfect unit by any means, but the fact that they have won six in a row despite not having played their best cricket in
Yeah,
any of those six matches will give them confidence that, okay, look, now we are in the semi-finals. Somehow, if we can peak in one of the two matches, or somehow we can find a way to peak in two matches, we'll probably win the World Cup.
Yeah,
So they have reached the semis without playing their best cricket. So what if they play their best cricket in the knockouts? That is what will be going in the minds of the opposition as well, and that is what Australia themselves will be thinking now, that look, boys, we've come this far by playing pretty ordinary cricket, and we have been like carry forward by exceptional individual performance across
individual
different
performance.
matches.
Yeah,
But this is the time for us to click as a
yeah,
pack, and they win a good toss. Who knows what can happen, right?
yeah,
So now we know their semi-final opponents as well. It's South Africa, so that is confirmed now. It cannot go wrong. I don't think there is any possibility of Australia not facing South Africa in the semi-final. There is no scenario, I guess. So yes. So
yeah. I mean, if you just go
what
back
is
to that points table, and then we'll take some questions. Um, if it is a South Africa Australia
it will be
semi-final,
confirmed?
it
Yes.
should be, and I think if, in all likelihood, they'll probably be in Mumbai, right?
No, no, Eden. Unless
Uh,
India play Pakistan, it will be in Eden Gardens. So yes, it will be in Kolkata.
Yeah, well, that'll be fascinating. And we know, of course, Australia, South Africa semi-finals in the World Cup. No one needs, of course, telling about that. Uh, we'll just, of course, just talk about the Afghan innings with the bat in hand, because I know they got their highest World Cup score, and 290 was brilliant in terms of the back end, and that's well depicted here in terms of what they did in the final 10, getting about close to 100 runs. But talk to me, Nikhil, about that standout innings, because ultimately 129, he'll be proud of himself tonight, even though it's a losing cause.
yeah. Hopefully, it'll be a start of many turns that he'll get against a good opponents. He's had starts in the past in this World Cup, plenty of 20s, 30s, hasn't converted them. Today, I think he looked himself. You can possibly debate about the strike rate and all, but that score for major part of the game did look enough. So I don't think you can even say that you could possibly say that okay, 10, 15 shot, but I think that was still more due to Hasmat's slowdown as opposed to Ibrahim. So if you go back to that innings progression, I think the 21 to 30 period is where they only scored 43 runs. Yeah. So that is the only place where I felt they shouldn't have done that. Even though they lost just one wicket, you had to be at around 55, 60 at least. But again, uh, even without that, I think what they did in the second innings, uh, difficult to go past. But yeah, Ibrahim will hope that he can make more of these centuries going forward.
It'll be interesting to see how they go about Afghanistan. Let's just, of course, throw that ahead right now in terms of what's going to happen here, the venue as well, who will suit. Anirudh, you go first here. After what you've seen Afghanistan do, not just today, but so far, they won four, lost four. How do you think they'll go into that game? And do you think you can actually imagine Afghanistan getting the points there, or is that wishful thinking?
If they had beaten Australia, I would have been very confident of them getting a result against South Africa. But unfortunately, I feel that this result might scar them, and I feel that they just might end up finishing the tournament the same way they started it. I think they might suffer a heavy defeat against South Africa, especially because of the venue as well. I just feel that this particular performance result will scar them a lot. I hope that's not the case. If they can emotionally get over this particular defeat and beat South Africa, that will be great for Afghanistan cricket. And let's not forget, they can still make it to the semi-finals. It's not all over for them, especially if there's a washout between New Zealand and Sri Lanka, which could happen. That then Afghanistan are still very much in the race for the semi-finals. But after, especially the manner of defeat, I just feel that it's gonna affect them in the last match as well.
Hmm. Of course, with regards to Knicks, you've been looking at that fixture at the time the fixtures got announced, and you had a very funny feeling about it. Has that changed? Has that enhanced it? Talk to me.
The sorry, which one are you talking about right now? The
So that
final one?
South Africa, Afghanistan one. Remember, you called it way back, and you were like, "There's going to be something about this game that stands out."
Yeah, it could have happened in this one itself, but see, I don't know. I want to be very positive with Afghanistan, but that management doesn't give you enough confidence in terms of being able to pull things off, even doing the basics. Again, as Anirudh said, getting out of this game will take a lot. It's not every day that you have Australia 91 for 7, and it isn't that they had to chase 130 or 160. They had to chase 290. He had 200 runs in the bank, and you blew that up, and you blew that up on a platter with eyes closed, hands folded at the back. I don't know. You can't just add adjectives to it. It is that bad. And for South Africa, they'll want to feel they now know how to put pressure on Afghanistan, and which is probably my biggest disappointment, that you can't make it so obvious that we will not budge. We will just stick to what we think may work, may work, may work, but it's not working. So I think South Africa will. I don't think South Africa will mind chasing in that game. If Afghanistan want to bat first, they should. South Africa should look forward to chasing, get a good confidence building win just before you get into knockouts. Because if you see both venues, they should be good enough. I mean, for batting, both Wankhede and Eden Gardens. And Pune has been one of the highest scoring grounds. So, uh, though I'm very keen to see how both the semi-final happen, because there has been a lot of movement in the first 15 overs. So the side that is going to bat second will have to have some clear strategy, because you saw how Maxwell was able to just hit anywhere and everywhere. It is also because of the conditions and the ball having and dew and all of that. So it is a lot of that will be into picture as well, how they play. I I think one change is for sure. Mujib is not playing the next game. बाकी जो change करना है कर लो.
Yeah, he's had a tough day in the office, Mujib, not just dropping that, but going for a lot of runs, and Maxwell just absolutely having it, which is ridiculous. Right. Before we end proceedings, yeah, we, of course, sorry about that, Sunny and the rest of the guys, of course, going at our throats. We've changed it. Blame Shaunak, man. Wherever that Shaunak boy is, whoever he is, just blame him, because ultimately, just jokes. We really thought that Afghanistan would go into it, and then maybe in this whole hullabaloo, the boy hasn't changed it. So cut him some slack. It's after all, I was going to say late, but not really. 10:47, so it's actually Shaunak's fault. Anyway, guys, a quick look ahead then to Australia's final game, because it is Bangladesh on that Saturday, and no Shakib in that one. And I think Australia, like you said, have already kind of confirmed their spot, Anirudh. So what should they do? Should they rest players in that one? Should they give Maxwell some sort of breathing time because he's played the best innings ever?
Yep, no Maxwell, probably no Hazelwood or Stark. Bring in Sean Abbott, bring in Carey as well if possible. I mean, see, semi-final spot is confirmed, and even if you lose, you're gonna play South Africa regardless of the result. So it's pretty much a dead rubber for Australia. So just bring in whoever is left in the squad. I'm just looking who else is in the squad, who else is not playing today. Cameron Green, of course. Bring in Cameron Green for Maxwell. Bring in Sean Abbott for
Yeah.
Hazelwood. Bring in Alex Carey for whoever. Like, if you want to rest Warner, open with Carey. I don't care. Then you can probably give Steve Smith a hit based on his fitness. So that's also there. But yeah, don't even bother playing Maxwell. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
He deserves like 15 days off and with pay for whatever he's done today. Like, so don't
They
even.
wouldn't want
Just,
15. They wouldn't
just
want
on
15
that
days off from here.
just on that topic of Maxwell, guys, because a lot of people are watching, so please like this video, and like maybe we can get all the people to comment as well. If there's any one inning in the history of the game, I'm not just talking about ODIs, I'm talking about T20s tests, which comes close to Maxwell. What is that knock? Because
Kusal Pereira against South Africa.
Yeah. Yeah.
you think that was second. I mean, if
That was
Maxwell
even better. To be honest, that's I think that is, in my opinion, the greatest cricket knock ever played.
was that
Being 14.
chanceless?
Pretty much, yes. From
Yeah,
what I can recall, I don't think there was a single drop chance or anything. There might have been a run out chance, but that also was the
yeah,
non-striker, if I'm not wrong. So
yeah.
it was
What
not.
about Kapil Paji's 175? Even though we don't have any footage
Didn't
of it,
see.
no
Okay,
pictures of it.
from what I have seen, I have to pick these two knocks as the number
Yeah,
one and number two.
Yeah, that probably comes close. Let us know in the comments, of course, what you guys feel is the best ever cricketing knock, because this one's definitely up there. We're all universally agreeing. Sanjay Singh, Lakshman in the 2010 test. I mean, come on, that way we can just name a lot of good ones, but
Hooks,
it can't come to the
hooks
great.
hittingly.
Yeah, it can't. And how much you guys rate Pat Cummins 12 to 68? Does that go in cricketing folklore as well?
Very, very important. Very good. I mean, I'm not joking. By the way, he played a great hand for someone who's known to be a very dodgy player against spin. It's not easy to keep out Rashid and Rashid and Mujib and Noor, and Naveen was also bowling well, and it's not easy. And also, look, we spoke about this before the match started, and I've been so impressed with how Cummins has stepped up as a leader with both bat and ball. I thought he bowled exceptionally once again. Maybe got that one decision of bowling Maxwell in the 46th or 45th
yeah,
over wrong. Probably that was the only stain in his captaincy today overall. But I thought he was excellent once again, and it just feels like his batting has gone up a level ever since the Ashes. It feels like he genuinely believes that he could make a difference with the bat for the team. We saw it in the New Zealand match as well. Like the 38 of 13 or 14, whatever he hit in Dharamshala, was probably also
yeah.
responsible for Australia getting over the line in that match. So yeah, I feel it's high time now that Cummins bats ahead of Stark in the pecking order. Maybe they sent in a left-hander today because they wanted a right-left partnership, but I feel, yeah, I feel it's the number eight spot is Cummins is forever going forward now.
Okay. Lots of people, of course, reacting to that Maxwell's knock in terms of what is the second best knock in cricket they've seen. Sachin's Chennai knock was Pakistan if he'd finished it. Greg saying Kapil Baji 175. Kanan also going on to say maybe Kyle Myers double in the fourth innings test against Bangladesh. That was a fantastic knock as well. But Maxwell today was just brilliant. And not to forget, he got one for 55. He bowled his 10 overs. He got, I think, a catch as well. So I mean, talk about a hard day at the office, literally doing everything that he could. Guys, it's been a fascinating game. It's been a fascinating review as well. And hope you guys, of course, like this video as much as possible, because it just helps us with the algorithm. And what a day out. They say Mumbai is maximum city. They should really rename it Maxwell City with regards to that. That's all we have time for. We'll see you tomorrow for another cracking game. Hopefully, England, Netherlands. I'm sure that'll be nothing short of surprise as well. Join us there at 125 for the preview, and lots more on cricket.com. Until the next time, it's a goodbye from three of us. Go check out a sea of stats on cricket.com right now with Glenn Maxwell absolutely lighting it up and propelling Australia to yet another World Cup semi final. Cheers. We'll see you soon.
Cheers.